Let's take a look at another modern marvel.
Safe skies rely on properly functioning jet engines. And behind every successful flight is a complex machine engineered to endure the extremes of speed, heat, and time. Today, many of these engines are flying well beyond their original design life, lasting longer than anyone first imagined, yet still expected to perform flawlessly. Only a few companies in the world are capable of repairing, overhauling, and testing these engines to the highest standards. This is where CTS Engines plays a critical role.
As the passenger aircraft opt for newer versions to support their customers, the demand continues in the cargo and military sectors. As these engines and the aircraft age, they're still very useful. They're useful in the operations and the markets that they serve and the routes that they're serving. And at the same time, they're cost effective and they are proven in reliability as well.
There's only a finite amount of capacity in the world to make new engine parts. And when we have these new platforms coming on board for all these new aircraft, that sucks up all of that capacity. Everybody migrates to those new engine platforms. Well, we've got to still, fight for the guys that are trying to fly these older aircraft for decades to come. And so that's what we do. We really focus on these legacy platforms, as we call them, to try to keep these engines, these aircraft flying as long as possible.
We don't know what's going to show up. All of our work scopes are different. There's never two like engines. They all have different issues.
We use our engineering workforce to help us design repairs, get them approved through the agencies such as the FAA, so they're airworthy and they're safe, and they provide an economical solution to our customers.
CTS Engines is committed to providing high-quality repair and overhaul services for aircraft engines. CTS Engines promotes a culture of dedication, quality, expertise, and flexibility to ensure that legacy fleets can still fly with confidence.
CTS Engines was founded some 20 plus years ago, and it was founded to support aircraft engines in the field, doing what we call field services, field repairs, and then evolved into doing full service overhaul.
CTS is different than other MROs, and I think the key word is flexibility, dealing with our customers. We work with our customers to help them manage their cost, manage their work scope, to make sure we put a good, safe product out to our customers. We look at the material that we use in terms of the ability to repair the material versus replacing it.
The big difference here at CTS Engines is we're a complete independent MRO serving the mature wide-body market. Safety is extremely critical for us here. From the time the engine comes in, to the pictures we take, to our inspectors going over the engine during our builds.
CTS Engines specializes in several varieties of jet engines, understanding that aviation maintenance isn't just about keeping engines running. It's about protecting lives and ensuring confidence in flight.
Here at CTS Engines, we support a variety of engine models. They support commercial as well as military applications. One of the ones that we support is the CF6 engine family, which is used on the Boeing 747, the Boeing 767, Airbus 330, MD-11, and military aircraft like the E-4B, KC-10 aircraft, and C-5 aircraft. In addition to that, we support the PW2000 and its military variant, the F-117, which is used on the Boeing 757 aircraft and the Air Force's C-17 aircraft.
The largest engine we're certified to test is the GP7200, which flies on the Airbus A380, the largest passenger airplane.
The aircraft and engines that we support are among the largest in the world, and they're the ones that you see in the air today and at the airports. So they're the ones that you fly globally to your destinations.
At CTS, we have a series of training programs to help us ensure we put a great quality product out to our customers. It starts with an FAA-approved training program, which supports all our technicians and the skills and the jobs they work on throughout the shop. They can't do a job unless they're fully qualified.
We have a pretty comprehensive training program, and we've refined that over the years. The reason is because we have to cover all phases of safety for both the parts and the people. But we have to also make sure that, the people are competent, so that the engines that we produce, are of the highest quality. The cliche is, if you have a problem with one of your aircraft engines while you're flying, you don't just pull over to the curb, right, and call AAA. So we've got to really keep our eye on quality. One of the other cool things that we implemented a few years ago is we created this mentorship program where we trained a group of senior technicians, and now they become mentors. So every time we get a new person enters the company, they're assigned a mentor. If they're in a situation where they took the course, but maybe they had a question and were afraid to ask, they can go to their mentor, get that answer, and the mentor's job is to make sure that at least for the fundamental skills and competencies that these guys get all the attention they need. We want to make sure that you guys have every opportunity to learn, from a qualified person.
CTS Engines believes in doing the job right the first time, holding its staff and their work to rigorous levels of accountability and precision while exceeding the quality requirements of the FAA. With extreme attention to detail, CTS Engines ensures that operators and their engines will continue to fly safely for years to come.
Safety is just foundational to our business, right? For a couple of reasons. We have to keep our people safe, number one. But we also have to think about safety in terms of the parts, because ultimately, those parts lead to a quality engine, which ultimately keeps that aircraft safe and the people that are flying on it as passengers or crews. So that's why we need to focus on safety at every single level. The tooling to support that engine, it's all in the hundreds of pounds to thousands of pounds. So you have to think about all those possibilities. We work at heights, right? We work with chemicals. We work with all kinds of things that are not necessarily safe to be around unless you know what you're doing. These parts are very, very expensive, and they're actually quite sensitive. So one small nick in a turbine disc, as an example, could render it useless. That disc could be easily $2-3 million.
It's important to test the engine after maintenance is performed, similar to when you take your car to a mechanic and he takes it for a test drive after he fixes it. We're taking the engine for a ride and making sure that the thrust and the parameters are safe and airworthiness ready to fly. Two critical parameters that we're monitoring when we're testing the engines is thrust and EGT margin. Thrust is the amount of push forward the engine provides the airplane. EGT stands for exhaust gas temperature. And what that provides is paints a picture of how healthy the engine is. The greater the margin is, the healthier the engine is and the more efficient it runs.
The future is extremely bright. I mean, the fact that we're here in this 217,000 square foot facility in Coral Springs, our financial sponsors have entrusted us with growth, and we're happy to fulfill.
As governments, the military, cargo operators continue to push these aircraft for longer and longer periods to keep them in service, we've got to be there to support them, and that's our focus. And my opinion is that we've got a really long runway in front of us.
For more information, visit ctsengines.com. In aviation, safety isn't just a priority, it's everything. CTS Engines provides repair and overhaul services for legacy GE Aerospace and Pratt & Whitney aircraft engines, including the CF6, PW2000, F117, and GP7200, ensuring they operate with the same precision and reliability they had from day one. What sets CTS apart is that safety isn't a step in the process. It is the process. Every repair, inspection, and test is carried out with discipline, accountability, and transparency. Their teams undergo rigorous training, their quality checks exceed industry standards, and their culture reinforces a single truth: lives depend on the work they do. From global cargo operators to U.S. government fleets, customers trust CTS Engines because they combine deep expertise with an uncompromising commitment to safety. Legacy engines power critical missions every day, and CTS makes sure they do so with absolute confidence.